Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Ages of Rock podcast with myself, Alan Tate, my friend Bill Algie, and his friend Dennis Talbot. Dennis is not my friend. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, well, that was an easy show. I think I'm done. Okay,
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, see you, Dennis.
No, seriously, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, my name's Alan Tate. We're just going to give you a little background about ourselves tonight, I guess. I'm 45 years old. My dad was a rocker, kind of got me started into music. I grew up in a small town in Kentucky, and my introduction to music basically consisted of whatever we could pick up at the time on AM radio. So I kind of have a soft spot for soft rock. I have a soft spot for hard rock. My mom listened to country music, so you give me Johnny Cash or Hank Williams, and I'm there. Bill, you want to talk a little bit?
Sure. So I'm Bill Algie. I'm originally from Evansville, from Southern Indiana, but now live in Columbus. So getting here has been great. We've had a long time to get to this point to have a podcast. So we've been talking about this off and on for years. So it's kind of cool to get here. But my music part started probably when I was, I'm 5, 6 years old. My mom always had music going on. My dad always listened to music, always had something going on in his van or something like that. And it was everything. It was the 70s rock and 70s easy listening stuff. And eventually finally broke out into something that was listenable for a, young teenager. And that's why I'm here today, because you can see behind me the hottest band in the world. So that's it for me. Dennis.
Hey, and like I say, I'm Dennis Talbot. Like I said, I grew up in Southern Indiana also, a little town. I had a rural route number and a party line phone, so if that tells you anything. We lived in the country. We grew up, like I said, my family wasn't very musical, but we had the old console, the stereo, had a few records to listen to, some Herb Alpert, had some Supremes, had some things like that, but always was interested in music. I always wanted to hear music, so I would always listen to those. We had the T-Bones and the Ventures, loved that kind of stuff. When I was a fourth grade, I went to a neighbor's house, and he was playing, as Bill said, Kiss Alive 1, actually, and I'm like going, well, this is a lot more dangerous than Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. But anyway, got into Kiss at that point, and my mom was really good about that. She would, take me to the store, and we'd buy the Kiss albums, and she'd listen with me also. So that's where my music began. And like I said, then as in junior high, began to play guitar and play guitar through high school, through garage bands, and then once I went to college, started a band, actually started playing out, and for 35 years I've been playing off and on, and now for the last 5 years, still playing in a cover band, Fifth Degree Burn, and still trying to, like I say, not making any money at it, but it's just fun to go out and play the music. So that's where I'm here, that's why I'm here today. And Alan, like I said, you're also a musician. Plus, yes. You do DJ stuff and you do PA stuff.
Jack of all trades.
So you know that also.
Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none.
So, Dennis, exactly. You actually, both of you kind of fit into the music realm now, right? So you're playing a lot of music and you're not making any money. So I think that's happening with about any band out there. Whether it's a garage band or one putting out music CDs or MP3s, they're not making any money anymore. So there you go. So you should not feel bad. You guys are killing it. That's awesome.
Well, the way I always looked at here's my perspective on it is the people that I work with guys who have $40,000 bass boats and they're out fishing every weekend, and I've got a crap load of equipment, got a lot of money involved in it, but I go out and play these weekends. They're like, well, how can you go out and play for nothing? I'm like going, you fished all day. How much money did you make? Nothing. I made $100. Okay.
There you go. That's a good point.
Who's the loser on that one?
You gotta buy bait. Bait's got to cost something. You don't even have to buy bait. Strings.
Exactly.
At least I hope you're not buying bait. That'd be bad. So bad. So, what do you guys? So what do you listen to now? What's stuff that you like now? We talked a little bit about history. So what's something that you listen to today?
I listen to a lot of the local Evansville bands, because I've been a part of the Evansville music scene for the last 10 years or so. And when the new metal came out, the Limp Bizkit, the Linkin Park, bands like that, I was really kind of turned off on it. And I hate to sound like I'm turning into my old man, because I'm not turning into my old man, but I'm turning into my old man. But seriously though, a lot of the local bands, even though they kind of are influenced by the new metal and things like that, they're also influenced by the Motley Crues, the Kiss, the Judas Priest. So I listen to a lot more independent music than I do what you would hear on mainstream radio. But also, I do DJ at like Casey's Time Out Lounge here in Evansville on Friday and Saturday nights. And, whether you like to hear it or not, you're going to listen to the wobble. You're going to listen to Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay. And you know all of the words to those songs now. So
we don't have to watch you do that, though, right?
No, I'm up in a dark booth in the corner. Nobody can see me up there making a fool of myself. But, even though, music is what moves your soul. So if you like something, you like something, regardless of what genre it is. Because some of those songs that they dance to, I don't really care for, like the Watch Me Whip. I don't care for the wobble or the Cupid Shuffle and things like that. But there's a song by a guy called The Weeknd, I Can't Feel My Face. That's a really good song. Bruno Mars has some really good music. Locked Out of Heaven, really good song. And those are songs that I never paid attention to until I started DJing bigger events.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So what about you?
Dennis, we were talking a little bit before we got started about like history. You were talking about your history. So you're using Spotify a lot, right?
Well, and that's what I was going to get to real quick. Just kind of a generic deal. Being that I'm 50 years old, and I was born in '65. My earliest memory are 4.5 to 5 years old. That would be late '69, early '70. Look at them. And Bill, I know, and Alan up here is 45. So we're kind of in that same genre. Look at what we have witnessed in our time frame as far as music wise. Music wise, we've seen the end of the hippie era. All the hey this and all that crap. Then we've seen the '70s. We've seen the early '70s. All the easy listening AM. We're going to call it AM '70s kind of type music. Then we saw, the bigger rock heart, the super groups as you call them, like the Fleetwood Macs, the stuff like that, the Eagles, the bigger groups that came out in the '70s. We also witnessed, the beginning of Kiss, which we are all Kiss fans. We seen the beginning, the birth and the death of disco, the death was actually a lot better than the birth.
I like disco for the record.
Well, and there's not because I'm like that'll be for another show, but I like a lot of everything. But I'm just going through what we saw, and as far as even with we saw the early of the British invasion of the metal, with your Saxons, your Iron Maidens, and stuff like that. Judas Priest,
yep.
The British. We saw that. And then the early punk. Then you get into the '80s. You're going to get your new wave. You're going to see, your hair metal. And why I say this is, even though my parents, they've witnessed all this also. Once I think the mid '70s hit, their radar kind of stopped at that point. They were kind of stuck in this portion of what it was, and that's good. That's what people do. But I think we've witnessed and been a part of a lot of different changes in music probably more than any generation that's been around. Because, like I say, you go from the punk to the new wave to the hair metal, then you had grunge, then you've had the newer stuff now. I mean, there's been a lot of change in music, and there's been a lot of change in look at how we did it. You know, my parents had radio and they had phonograph and their record. You know, and probably toward the end, you know, like when I was born, we had record. We had a reel to reel. You know, you had 8-track. Then cassette came along. You know, and then we had AM, FM radio. Then you had CD came out, and then from CD, you know, you had the DATs, which didn't last very long. But then you had satellite radio that came along. Then, you know, it was funny because Rod and Bill, you know, Rodney and I sit in our apartment, you know, in the early, actually late 80s, had been probably 88, going, wouldn't it be great to be able to sit here and pull up any song you wanted to hear at any time at your fingertips?
Here we are.
That's what Spotify is. I mean, we have actually that was something that was like one of these crazy, like, oh, can we hover, you know, get a hoverboard, you know? No, we've actually got to that point. You know, I can sit here, I sit in my garage, and I don't watch television anymore. I listen to Spotify, and I pull up, you know, if I want to listen to, tonight I want to hear Genesis. The other night I was like, I'm thinking about Genesis. I want to hear some Genesis songs. Well, I haven't heard that album. Full albums, you know, from front to back. You can pull, I mean, at your fingertips if you pay the subscription. I mean, and the other thing was, you know, you're driving down the road. It used to be in the 70s, you hear a song, I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is. Shazam. Boom. You know, what did I Shazam this week? I Shazammed a bunch of songs. Don't know what they are, but now I do. You know, technology now is awesome.
Absolutely.
That's what I was bringing up, and that's what I was bringing up earlier of the time that we live in, and that's what this show is kind of about too, is the fact of our age, you know, ages of rock, that we have that technology to do this stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I think that's what really kind of brought the three of us off and on together. You know, met Alan through a Kiss Kiss group on Yahoo, right. And then Dennis and I've known each other since 1984.
84.
Y'all old.
Yeah,
I know. I flipped burgers and Bill dipped the ice cream at a little place here in Evansville.
Was that the one over there on Green River Road?
Yeah,
GD Wrists. Okay, we're gonna give him a
shameless plug.
Well, shameless plug for the Kiss Army at YahooGroups.com. There you go, Spike.
There you go.
You the girl we work with is still working there. She's the manager there.
Yeah, she is.
Awesome? Yeah, she's awesome. I was like,
well, I'm going to go in there and drop a name, and I better get a free ice cream.
You will.
So you drop one of our names, you'll probably get thrown out.
They're going, damn two people, you're out of here, you're out of here.
She'll probably tell you stories you don't want to know.
There are stories from there that will never get on this show. They will never get on this show.
That's true. That's true.
Well, this is the Ages of Rock. This isn't the Ages of GD Ritzy.
Yeah, thank goodness. But, you know, that's the cool part. You know, we all come from different backgrounds and have different things going on, and music's always been a big part of all of our lives. I mean, I think that's the cool part. And, you know, mine is not as, you know, I'm not going out DJing like Alan is, or I'm not going out, you know, playing in a band like Dennis is, but listening to this stuff constantly. You know, I got my iPod with something on it new all the time. I'm downloading music all the time. I do listen to other different podcasts that are just turning me on to music I never would have listened to. That never, you know, somebody's like, hey, have you checked out this band? And it's like, well, I know. So I hop on Amazon or I hop on Spotify or something and start, you know, looking at new music. And I think that's something that, you know, has really changed. And you know, to Dennis's point about, you know, the ability to access stuff readily that you wouldn't be able to before. And, you know, I kind of have mixed feelings about it. You know, I think it's awesome that we can do that. The other part of that is, you know, our band's going to be around in 5 years is that band going to be around in 5 years? Because the sustainability is going to be an issue, you know, at some point. So, but I really like the ability to hear a lot of different bands. And I'm sure that 10 years ago, even, there are bands I would have never listened to that I didn't listen to because I didn't have that ability. I mean, I'm not going to go spend $10 on a CD or whatever it is to listen to something I've never heard one track of. But I've been known to do it with Amazon. I'll spend $5 on an album of the month because I listen to a little bit of it and go, that's kind of cool. It's $5, you know. Yeah. I'm to the point, I'm to a point now where $5 is not that big a deal. So I think that makes a difference too. It gives us a little more fluidity than what we used to have, for sure.
Yeah, you brought up a point. You said something about bands not being able to sustain because they can't sell records. Back in the days when Elvis and Chuck Berry and all those guys were playing, they put out singles to promote their concerts. Yeah. And the album started becoming a thing, and then they started putting on concerts to promote the albums. In my opinion, it looks like the industry has gone full circle, and now that you can put out singles or whatever, the door is open, the horse is out, and it's gotten to the point where people are going back to, we're putting out a single to get you to come to our show. So the industry is what it is now, and I think that you're always going to have bands that are going to be out there touring, There are not going to be very many arena acts like we saw in the late 70s, early 80s, like the Kisses, the Journeys, or anything like that. Because now it's what they term as bro country. That's where your big arena acts are now, or the teenage pop music. So I think that you're going to see a lot more of the acts playing in places like, rather than the Ford Center here in Evansville, they're going to be playing at the Victory Theater or the Center because it's a smaller venue. They can get, they can fill that place up to where they can't.
Right.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And, even music itself has changed so much. I mean, my son listens to EDM, electronic dance music, which is DJ produced music. It's all off of an iMac that's created by different beats and things. So it's not anything that we've had in the past. I mean, back in the late 80s, I guess, is when they first really started using early 80s, started using drum machines and those kinds of things. I think that's when that first kind of became a big thing. And but now, does an artist even need to go in a studio anymore?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of got myself sidetracked there. You were talking about artists putting out an album, and you're not going to spend $10 on an album.
Well, and here's where I see it, Alan, though, too, is a lot of looking back in the 70s when those classic albums that came out. There's very few bad songs on those early albums. If you listen, like a lot of the Fleetwood Mac or Eagles or Kiss or the early albums on all those Heart. Those albums you can listen to from front to back, and you don't skip a song. Even on the early Van Halens, you're like going, "Oh my gosh, this is great, this is great, this is great." In the 80s, it got to the point where let's put a couple of hits out, and then let's just put a bunch of filler in.
Right, and then people started getting burned buying albums.
Exactly, because you know what, an early Kiss album or early Van Halen album was only under 40 minutes.
Right.
Because they were but it was the meat and potatoes, the good songs. When CDs came out, they gave them 74 minutes, so they figured they had to fill this damn thing up. So what they do, they filled it up with a bunch of shit that shouldn't have been on there. It's sad because but people were wanting. They're wanting. Let's put 14 or let's put 18 songs on this album. Yeah. Well, we only got 14. Well, write 4 more real quick. So they wrote crap. And that's what they put on there. It was, or some, I got a demo, or, Joe was working on this one here, and we'll put this one on. And that's what they did. And there was a lot of filler in those albums. Yeah. So what made you want to go out to buy those albums? That's what you were talking about earlier.
Right. People were getting burned. People were getting burned because they were buying an album.
Right. I can go on iTunes now. I would listen to the albums, like going, well, that song sucks. That song sucks. I like this song. It's almost like an a la carte anymore for iTunes because you don't have to buy the album anymore.
It's like buying a 45 back in the day.
Yeah. You buy 99 cents, and it's like, I want this song, I want this song, I want this song. And then when you do that, usually iTunes will come back and say, "Would you want to finish the album for kind of like the old, the Columbia House.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
want to? Do you want to finish this off for $4? We'll go ahead and finish this off, which is awesome. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's supply and demand. It's supply and demand and how you sell things. It's not. I think hopefully now, being that it is tight and it is harder to sell stuff, that maybe the quality of the music will come up, and we won't have a lot of this trash coming out. That's my hopeful.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, and I'll tell you this right now. Like I said, I'm one of the biggest Kiss fans in the world. But over 40 years, they've done some stuff that's just completely. I mean, and the thing is, if they do something stupid, I'm going to call them out on it. And it doesn't mean that I don't like Kiss. It's just that, you know what? You put some shit out. There's some shit you put out that's not good. And what was funny is we've been over the last couple of weeks trying to get this show together. We'll throw a little snippet out there. Here's an idea for a show, and it's just like we're just jumping on each other, going, "Well, that's a piece of crap," and "No, I like that one." And it's like, "Well, no, it's okay." It's like we're already jumping on each other, going like, "But that's the whole point of the show is even though we do like a lot of the similar stuff, we also have a very different opinion of how much we like it or if we like it, and we may like a band, but we don't like this portion of the band or this other section of the band." I think that's what's going to be cool about this show.
It might actually happen on this. Somebody might actually like Alan and not like me.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Then we'll just ban them from the show. I'm just kidding.
You're going to have to work real hard to get banned from watching this show.
We're not banning anybody. That's not going to happen. I'm not too worried about that.
Unless you're just a really, really, really big dick, we're not going to do it.
But Alan, you started to talk about about the change and being able to buy something for $5. So you want to talk about that a little bit more, or is that gone?
Well, what I was going to say is, Dennis said that back in the day you could buy an album and you knew you were getting 10 pretty good songs or 10 really good songs. And then when the CDs come out, they start putting 15, 20 songs on there, and 18 of them were garbage.
Exactly.
And now that people can listen to music on Spotify, they can listen to it on YouTube, or however they get their hands on it, we can sample your album. Well, all these albums that leak, and I'm sure the record companies, even though they swear they don't do it,
Oh yeah,
they leak these albums on purpose.
sure.
But no, I am going to listen to your album before I buy it, because I'm not going to drop $15 or $20 on 2 songs that are good.
Right.
And I think that's what, especially a lot of the independent musicians, they're really struggling to deal with that. I'm a member of an independent musicians group called Music Thoughts it's another Yahoo group that I'm on. And that's one thing that most of them are struggling with is, even their stuff, even though they're not mainstream like Kiss or U2 or anybody like that, their stuff still gets pirated.
Right.
Somebody buys it, puts it on a download site,
But my point is, too, is, even though, because Spotify, I know that everybody, it's like Taylor Swift, and they're only getting 2 cents on my song whenever you buy, you listen to it on Spotify. But if I do listen to your stuff on Spotify, it's basically like listening to it on the radio, get to listen to your stuff. If I like you, I support you. I go out, I still to this day buy, if I buy the Kiss album, or like it, I'll buy it. Foo Fighters, same way. I'll listen to it because it's right out. I buy it automatically because Foo Fighters is that's my big guy right now, my big band now. And I took Bill went with me to Indianapolis, and he can attest. It's a good show.
It's a good show.
But anyway, it's one of those things where Spotify is a great deal. I mean, you're paying. I mean, I paid $10 a month to be on Spotify. Then I'm able to listen to these songs. They're not the highest quality. I say, if you buy the CD or the album or whatever they're putting out at that point, it's going to be a better quality. And the whole point is I know that being a musician, I support the people that I like. if I listen to that thing and I really like it, it's a great album. I'm going to go out and buy it just for the fact that I want it and I want to support you.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are like that. I don't think people are, maybe the college kids, but college kids have never had money. Even when we were in college, we didn't have a way to do it. But Bill,
that's why they dubbed tapes. How many people?
That's why they invented Napster.
I borrowed Bill's. I tell you what, 2 albums I borrowed from Bill to listen to at my house on an LP was The Elder, and was Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East. I listened to it and listened to it and listened to it. I made a cassette copy of it. But at some point, I went out and I bought I bought the CD of both of them. So those, they became really favorite albums of mine. And there's some albums, I'll tell you right now, Ted Nugent Double Live Gonzo, I bought it twice on 8-track. I bought it once on CD. There's some albums I bought 3 and 4 times just for the fact of it's either they came out with a remaster, or they came out with this, or I broke the one, or I lost it, or somebody took it. You know what I'm saying? I borrowed it, loaned it out. So people will sell music. The whole point is make good music. If you make good music, it will sell. People will, and it will support you. And like I say, if you put on, and like I said, with Bill and I went to that Foo Fighters show. I went to 5 Foo Fighters shows. Now they're going to be my next Kiss. Basically, is what's going to happen. But I went to 2. I went 2 on this tour alone. I've been to 2 shows in 2 months, and they were 2 different complete concerts. I was telling Bill about it. It was just completely different than the one we seen in Indianapolis, the one I seen in Nashville. But what they do is they go out and they don't do like Kiss and do an hour and a half. Oh yeah, it's the greatest show in the world. We're blowing bombs up stuff. Man, they play 3 hours. I mean, the dude for 3 hours just screams his ass off and plays, and they're putting out music, and they play different songs. They change the set list every night.
Novel idea.
When has Kiss ever done that? I mean, that's the reason that I don't go see Kiss anymore. Is I've seen that show. I've seen that show 15 times.
I understand why they don't change the set list every night because of the pyro and the theatrical piece of it. Well, but they can change it every tour.
There should be.
And they can change it maybe even during the tour. At certain points. But that's the thing that it gets me a little frustrated with that piece of it. But yeah, that Foo Fighters show was phenomenal. I bought in. I'm in. I'm all in.
The whole point was, though, Bill, the thing you complained about, that big long guitar solo, that didn't happen in Nashville. That didn't happen. Yeah. It was awesome. They didn't even do that. They played Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, and a Thin Ice. I was like going, really? You're going to play that? That's just freaking awesome. They just play stuff off the cuff. Yeah. And the thing is Kiss could do that but they would need to set aside a few songs through the night where, okay, we're not going to have pyro, we're just going to have lights. There's a guy that has some switches that, Alan, you know how it is. We've run lights before. The dude can run lights. You don't have to be spectacular, but change the setup a little bit. Just make it a surprise. Make it something different for people.
That's one thing I will give them credit for on the Rock the Nation tour back in 2004, because they did that whole concert tour on the Instant Live CDs,
right?
And of course, I went to the Nashville show, and everybody coordinated. I'm at the Nashville show. I'll make copies of this for you. You're at San Antonio. Make this for me. So there's a ton of us that have every show from that tour. And they did do different. One show, Philadelphia maybe, they did All the Way, just off the wall stuff like that nobody was expecting, and that was awesome.
But one song, I mean, the thing is, they're doing 1 or 2 songs maybe different.
But
the Foo Fighters shows that we've seen it, Bill, from the time we've seen it, the ending song was their beginning song in Nashville. They switched it up that much. I mean, it was that completely different.
Yeah, Pro Jam does that too.
That's just awesome. I mean, when you can do that, the thing is, if you've got the song programmed into a light show, it don't matter what order you do it in. and then add these other ones in there. That's the whole point I was saying.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
We gave Bill the sniffles.
My eye is watering. I don't know what the deal is. I'm
you're
not
just
winking.
excited. It's
I'm
our
not
first
winking
show.
at you guys.
He was excited because they played all the way back in 2004.
I got a little tear. I got a tear because you took my older album and kept it. Thank God. Okay, so we'll get past that.
But anyway,
So thinking about those show. This show is going to be about a variety of things. We've got a list. Dennis said earlier we got a list of shows that we want to try to do things on. So we've all come up with lists of stuff like 50 greatest rock bands. There's been what's your favorite cut off of this album or that album, or what album would you never want to hear again, or what are your desert albums and that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be trying to do on this show and just be something different.
And it also goes with, like we were talking about earlier too, as far as saying like just growing up, because we all grew up in the Midwest. What effect did that have on what we think about music now? We weren't privy to the stuff that were happening in California and in New York City. Our shit got trickled in very, very slowly. Oh yeah, I heard it on Hit Parader. Well, guess what? It happened 4 months ago. That this shit just got into, and that's
unfortunately that crap that happened in Seattle got down here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it happened, but it migrated east. It's not supposed to do that. So
another thing we were talking about too, just to other topics that we were talking about was just the effect. And another thing that we were privy to was the start of video TV, the video, the midnight specials, the night traps, the Don Kirshner's rock concert. What effects did that have on us? And
sleepless nights.
Exactly. Oh, dude, when we get to that one, I got so much great stories about that. It's just ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's gonna be awesome. Because I grew up in the country without cable, so we're talking aerials.
That was
and
us.
I was getting TV stations out of Louisville, which was 150 miles away. So if that tells you anything about the stuff that I watched back then, it wasn't very clear. It wasn't cable.
And you're watching it on No D TV, right?
No D.
No D.
And it
Rolling.
went like this, and then it
Goes all
out, goes back in. It's like, well, that's what they look like. Well, no, I can't really tell. Let me squint my eyes a little bit.
That's how we used to watch HBO. We didn't pay for it. You'd watch it and it'd be all squiggly.
Yeah. Some of the other things.
The naked girl.
I don't
know what you're talking about.
Some of the other things that we're planning on talking about, occasionally we're going to hit something that's topical. A good example is over the past couple of weeks, there's been a kind of a pissing match between Dee Snider and Paul Stanley. You've got two 60-year-old men acting like middle school playground bullies.
Yeah.
So things like that might come up on the show every once in a while.
I think too, Alan, that'll be something like we can do at the very beginning of the show. Something that's topical. We'll spend probably early part of the show on the news of the day, because that's the whole point. Because we're going to be planning on trying to get this thing out. We're going to try to record on Mondays and try to get out on Thursdays. That's what we're planning on, if possible. Unless we look real stupid.
In a perfect world.
Yeah. And hopefully when we get all these listeners and viewers of the podcast on YouTube and whatever they're able to listen to it through, we'll get some feedback about what you guys want to hear us talk about, or what you guys don't want to hear us talk about, or
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll eventually we might vote somebody off the island. I don't. We call it, Ages of Rock Survivor.
we will have a Facebook page up. By the time this is up, we're going to have a full-fledged Facebook page. And then things we talk about, videos that we talk about, whatever we think about this week, we're going to be posting them on there. So it'll be a cool site to go to as far as checking out videos of old rock things, or anything that is topical will be on there, probably posted. And we all talk tonight. We're going to have some guests. There are going to be some local people that we know. as you're listening to this podcast at the very beginning, there's some music. That music was done by myself and Amy Dingman, who is a friend of my wife's who she works with. She's a nurse, and she's a chick that can play drums. And her brother have a huge Kiss collection of crap. He actually just got the Kiss pinball machine. Can you believe that?
Wow.
The new one?
Yeah, he got the brand new one. Yeah, the new one.
So
We're all
does
like,
it have
really?
Peter and Ace on it, or does it
You
have
guys have been
Tommy
here in
and Eric?
town, Bill. We're gonna go over there. We're gonna check. She keeps bugging me, wanting to go over. Wants me to see it. I'm like, I'll be over there sometime. But anyway, Amy's a great girl. She's a great drummer, actually. And if here's a little background on that on the intro music. Amy came over. She knew that was the first recording that we'd done. She knew through my wife that I was a musician. She came over. She said she played drums. I said, well, I have a drum set. I had a Tascam 8-track. It was on one cassette. There was an 8-track on the cassette. She came over. We played a couple Kiss. She's a big Kiss fan, so we played a couple Kiss tunes. And at one point, I started playing a little riff. And she started playing a little beat. I said, hold on a minute. I hit record. What you're hearing on our intro to our song is that song. That's a one take. We went through it, and as soon as we were done, I added the bass onto it and one more guitar track, and that's it. That was a one take, one time, flying off the cuff.
So what you're saying is you want producer credits.
Sam, I'm giving her credit for playing drums on it. But no, it was a one take. I mean, it was one of those things where it's one of these days I'm going to sit down when I get some time. Hopefully this winter, I'm going to sit down and record something really good. But I'm going to have her probably play drums, like she's better at it as I am.
And I can do cowbell. You know, I'll come down and.
Oh, it'll be around Christmas. You'll do cowbell. Have Alan over. You can do. You can play bass on it or whatever you want to do. We'll make a team effort out of it.
Yeah, so everybody out there will know that if you hear the intro change and there's cowbell, that's the not musically inclined Bill.
But it'll be the whole group.
Yeah, that'll be great with a guest drummer, Amy.
Now, Bill, you are going to sign the contract as being a cowbell player. You have to sign the contract to be in the band, right?
Yeah, I realize that I'm just a hired gun. But I'm going to leave this face. I'm not changing it in any way. You're not going to make me shave the goatee. That's not optional. So
I watched some videos earlier, and we'll get to that at some point. But that's why I was bringing it up.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Alan knows what I'm talking about. Anyway.
Not good. Some of us have maybe too much of a history. You just never know.
And you know what? That's what I think is going to be great about this show is the fact of that. Bill and I have a history. I met Alan, and the reason that I knew of Alan, even at that concert, was the fact that he was a friend of yours on Facebook. And when we went to actually a Steel Panther Judas Priest concert. We were up there Bill and I were getting some adult beverages, and he goes, "Oh, this is Alan." And I was like, "Oh, I know him. Seen him on Facebook."
Yeah.
And that's when the thing was like, we're talking about podcast, and Alan's like, "Well, that would be great." Well, we talked about it, and Bill and I talk about stuff forever, and technically wise, we're just not quite there. And finally, about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago?
Well,
I don't think it's been that long. It's been
it was about 3 weeks ago.
It's been pedal to the metal, man. It's been on.
It was basically here's how it happened. Alan texted both of us and said, "Hey, you guys doing that podcast yet?" And I said, "No, not quite yet, but we're wanting to. Hey, you want to join us?" And that's how it began. And we have just been, like you said, we've been balls out for 3 weeks now. Just basically.
It's been.
And we've run test runs, and we figured out this doesn't work, and this does work, and this doesn't work, and it's been fun though. I tell you what, I've had a really good time. I know we've worn our wives out with this crap. I mean, it's just been ridiculous.
Yeah, go ahead.
You will notice during the first episode here that you see some technical glitches and difficulties and things like that, and as the show goes on, we will work those things out. So just bear with us. And
exactly.
Yeah, and as you can tell, we don't have a makeup artist or lighting designer. We struggled with that a little bit earlier. We
No,
had
Lisa
some,
was sure she designed your lights for you.
She designed, yeah, and I realized after the test that me wearing a white T-shirt with my white goatee and white hair was probably, and pretty pale skin at the moment, was not a good idea either. So,
Well, unless you're doing
it's been a blast. I mean, I think it's going to be fun, and hopefully everybody enjoys it. And if you don't enjoy it, okay. But if you do, let us know. We want to know if you like it, because it's.
Well, if you don't enjoy it, let us know what you don't enjoy. Maybe we can change.
Yeah, and if it's Dennis, then we'll fire him.
And like I said, this is all, and actually, we're all fans of podcasts and videocasts. We watch a lot of them that are online now, and like I said, we're not trying to copy anybody. That's the whole point. We're trying to do there's a lot of them that are doing like specific bands and specific musics. Who knows what's going to happen next week? We got a lot of ideas that are coming up, and we every day somebody's like, it's like somebody threw one out and it's like going, really?
Yeah.
So I guess my David Boone podcast is out.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear something, just let us know, and we'll try to figure out a way to make it work. But if we do one and you kind of go, why did you waste an hour of my life? You want to know? Here's an interesting musical fact I found out earlier today. So the first time I saw Kiss was in 1978 in January, and January 23rd, 1978, and 6 days before that was the last time AC/DC opened for them on that tour. So I had a chance to see Bon Scott from that exact.
If you want to know anything about Kiss and any tour, this is the book to get.
We are not.
It's handy. Alan, where's your book?
Mine's an ebook.
Yeah. There you go. But it was just odd. I'm like, I could have seen Bon Scott if I'd have went to the right show. But I just missed it. That's, but there's band. It's kind of funny because, going to shows, and I know that, we're probably getting close on time today, but, how many bands that we've seen. We need to do a show about that. I've been tracking it, so I know who all I've seen, how many. And
you've seen much more than we have.
Ridiculous.
I mean, you're ridiculous.
The money. If I had the money, I'd much happier guy.
And once again, not
as happy as I would, because I love the music is worth it. I mean, I love going to shows. I love going to live shows. I'd love it. I would go all the time if I could afford it.
But you know what, though? Getting back to it, and then just real quick, and I don't want to keep on it because I know we're going to get over time. Here's my biggest point. We went and seen those Foo Fighters shows. They were, $49? And even Motley Crue, which we'll talk about that show at some point. We paid really, thank God we only paid, $20 for those tickets?
Yeah, I want a refund, by the way.
I do too.
Actually, no. I'll take $5 because Alice was worth $15.
Yeah, I tell you what. Yeah, we'll give everything but $5 to Mo.
Actually, $19.99.
Alice, I would pay. I would pay good money to see Alice because Alice is great. But anyway, we're getting into another show. But what I was just saying before, as far as like with Kiss, after seeing them 15 times, I'm not paying $100 to go see anybody anymore. I'm done. I've seen there are certain people that I would pay high to see that I haven't not seen yet. But there are bands that I've seen multiple times that what. Aerosmith was just in town. Am I going to pay $150 to see Aerosmith? No. I seen Aerosmith.
Wouldn't pay $5.
Done.
Wouldn't do it.
I'm done. And it's sad. If that's your thing, if Aerosmith's your thing, that's great. But perfect. I've already seen them, and I'm not paying $150. I'll go buy their DVD from their last concert and just sit there all day long for $20.
I believe I won that off of WABX, so you can borrow it if you want.
Yeah.
Save your money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's some bands that we'll have to have that conversation about bands that.
Although we've got so many conversations.
Not going
this
there.
Is the first night. I tell you what, though, Alan, Bill, like I said, we've talked about this over almost a month now, and I'm glad it's finally became a reality. And we'll see how it goes from here. how long I can keep from quitting. No, I'm out of here.
All right. So, are we ready to wrap it up, gentlemen?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, and I also want to put a shout out to Alan. Tell you what, Bill, real quick. Bill put together the logo. Or no, actually, Alan had the logo. Bill put the background to it. It looks really good. Alan's been doing the promos as far as the beginning, the intros and the outros of the thing. Like I say, it's been a really good experience with everybody jumping in, doing stuff, and it's been really great.
Kept us sidetracked from having to deal with real life.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
All right. So, we want to thank everybody for listening and watching, and give us some feedback. Facebook page.
Yep.
Oh, that's going to be bad.
Facebook.com. Okay.
Ages of Rock. Look it up on Facebook.
www.facebook.com/Ages of Rock podcast.
See, that's why I don't get paid to do that.
Also, go out and support local music, please.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
That's a must.
Your local musicians end up being your national artists. So
Exactly.
if you want to see them be a national artist, go see them in your local bars.
Exactly.
That it?
That's it, man.
Peace out, y'all. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.